question. Oh, you miss my touching. You do. Show me something. Give me more than one thing. I need more than less than I do. Say you're a good guy. Make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it. I wanna see it. See how. Rewind. When we rewind, it feels so nice. I can't help how. Got this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk. You need to say let's convey. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome back to another special edition of the warm-up show with your hockey coach, Guru Coach Franchise directly for the beautiful country in Thailand. And we have to go all the way to Toronto, Ontario to find the only one, the co-host, Mr. ENORTAP is in the house tonight. You know, it's not easy dancing at 5 o'clock in the morning, Mr. ENORTAP.
or after a long day's work.
It takes me a bit more some more. I should do like a warm-up preview, exercise before I come here to exercise my arm and, to create that kind of the warm-up. But look, here we go. We are back together for another great show. We have a lot of contents to talk about. The 9 games a little bit yesterday in NHL, 8 game happening tonight for going to preview the prediction. And the bus is full, Mr. ENORTAP. I thought with the 2 score of Montreal and Arizona, there's going to be a lot of people at the jail. And we have a new not a new member, but he may be a member, but we have a new guy predict score for the first time this year, and he looked like a roller coaster. One day at the jail, one day to the bus, one day to the jail. Now he's going back at the bus. I don't know. He needs to figure out to get 2 back-to-back predictions.
I know who that is.
So we may have to say about this. We have a lot of people show up, Mr. ENORTAP, so why not to welcome them at the beginning of the show, and then we're going to talk a little bit more. And by the way, tonight we do the game between the Boston Bruins versus the Ottawa Senators. So it'll be my first game, honestly, for the Ottawa Senators this for upcoming season. So it'll be interesting to watching them tonight. Big game for them as they are 0-2 at Boston on fire 3-0. So that's another direction for both teams. But first of all, why not to welcome for the Mr. David Arthur is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP.
Hey, David. Welcome.
Mr. David is back. Our first moderator of the Hockey Nation show, back from Utah. And back with a W last night, a double goal of the Philippe Danault. I'm talking about the Ron King number 20.
Hey, Ron. Look at those LA Kings.
The Quebec Nordic fans, Mr. Vinny James 007, welcome back.
Vinny. Welcome.
Sometimes you have deals, sometimes you have no deal, but we have only one deal. It's called the Real Deal Prim, Mr. UNORTAP. Welcome back in the house.
It's the prime one.
And we have the GOAT of the prediction. We have the GOAT of the French quiz, but we have the GOAT of the prediction. Mr. Yamo Vartanen is in the house tonight.
Hey, Yarbo. Welcome. Moi.
He's maybe not yet the GOAT, but we have know one thing. He's the fence of the Boston Bruins #1. Back in the house tonight, Mr. Stu Pilazzo. We have the #2 moderator of the Hockey Nation show, Mr. UNORTAP, and Mr. UNORTAP, directly from New York State, upstate New York. Mr. Jose Duarte is in the house.
Hey, Jose. Send me those pics, Jose.
No, I need to open the door here, Mr. UNORTAP, because Jose Duarte, he's the third line players inside those predictions. So what I'm talking about, he's forecheck a lot, right? We don't hear his name a lot. He's very quiet, but he produces every single game. He show up when the game count. Look where he is at the top of the leaderboard.
Absolutely.
And he produces every single time. So we need to recognize this one over there. And I think you have a baseball game right now, right? No? A baseball game's going on. The Yankees they lead 5-1 at the top of the 6th inning, I believe.
5-1 now. Okay.
5-1, yeah. So
looks like that's it for the Yankees.
So we'll be interesting to see what happened. I just saw this on the TV right now about this. Then
the difference.
Miss Kelly back in the house. Welcome back, Miss Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, how are you?
Now, what's the format for prediction? Team score line. It's just simple. Email direction of what you would want to see. So,
Stu, every game on a nightly basis, all you have to do is predict the score. There's no spreads. There's nothing like that. You just predict the score, send it in an email to hnswarmup@gmail.com, and put all your predicted scores for the evening on that one email. You can even do it for the entire week if you like. And then
Mr. UNORTAP, great way. I will say to you, example, Boston play Ottawa tonight. So what do you want to get on that email?
You could either just put Boston 3-2, or you could put Boston 3 and Ottawa 2. Any way you like, as long as I can make out which team you selected and the score, that's perfectly fine. You don't even have to add them up.
And the second
you don't even have to add them up. I'll add them up. And sorry, the second thing.
Yeah, you need on the email.
What do I need on the email? Like I said, you could put the total goals. That would be a definite favor for me, but I end up adding them up all anyway. So even if you forget that part, it's okay. I got you.
Yeah, but Mr. UNORTAP, me, I will say to you, I put score, then I change my final score.
You can't. I take the one that whatever your scores add up to, Coach, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, but you have to forget you had the empty net at the end of the night.
No. Sorry.
But that's the email, guys. You have to send HNLSwarmup@gmail.com. That's the one about that one over there. So, Mr. UNORTAP, I just want to sharing this with you. So, thanks so much, Mr. Stu. Great question, because sometimes people in the chat maybe don't shy to ask this question whatsoever. So I think that's great news.
I think Guillermo gave an example there. You can do it like that, or even like Stu did right there. Either way.
Here we go. Mr. Fernando Tavares is in the house. Mr. UNORTAP.
Me.
He is in the house tonight. Mr. UNORTAP is Fernando. Thanks to me with the Hockey Nation show. I'm supposed to have something here. Here we go. I'm going to high-five him, Mr. UNORTAP. Here we go. That's the way it works about this. Hey, from New Jersey Devils, number of friends, the big city and the Texas back with us. And Mr. Joseph Laham is with us. But Mr.
Hey,
Natab,
Joseph.
before we go through the list a little bit later, let's talk here about the one go on the bus, Mr. Natab. Coach is going to be at the bus for the first time with Kelly, Roger L., and Jose Duarte, Randy Walkman, and Fernando Tavares, a run with Kings, Mr. Natab. They are on the bus today with a great performance of 6-3 yesterday. And a great way to start the week. And then Yamo Vini, Chicago 5-4, not a bad night. And our tap, Mike Bougie, Luciano 4-5. We have the rest. So let's bring the people on the party bus. Here we go. We have the driver, Roger, picking up the bus. Wow, it's going to be a fun ride. We're not only one or two. We have a packed house at the bus. Mr. Natap is going to get a lot. Roger have to stop at the 7-Eleven to pick up more drink and more stuff in the bus because now we have empty at that moment. We have only one or two, but now we have over 5-6 people, guys. And then, of course, Roger's going to stop at the Oilers to get some wings. But again, what a great night going to do, and then start the body boss, Mr. Natap. At the point, hopefully, we're going to produce better score for tonight. But again, it's great to see everybody and the party boss. So, how you can do this? But it's easy. You have to become the best performer and the night with the prediction. But you have at least to be over 600 average, Mr. Natap. That's the only way you can get the party boss. And that's what happening yesterday. So congratulations for the winner of the party boss. And then the leaderboard at the bottom, guys. The only thing we do is the leaderboard at the week number 1. So it's not like every night we calculate all the record. So I just want to mention this for the leaderboard. It's all for week number 1. And then the right score, Roger, double score, Mr. Roger, last night. Kelly
Roger
King
was hot
performed very
night.
well on the score. I think he's a back-to-back winner on the score. So congratulations, Ron, to be that way over there. But before we start the talking about the NHL, we have a couple of people show up. We have Luciano, Graziano, and the captain of the moderator. Both of them moderator. Welcome
Luciano
back in the house.
Danny.
Thanks so much to be a part of the show.
Danny.
I think Danny is already on the balcony. Mr. Nathan, we're going to talk about him a little bit later.
Yes.
And we have Mr. Steven Bigard. Welcome back, Steven. Salut mon coach. Salut mon Steven. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Thanks so much about this. Hey, Marco. Are you on the balcony right now? Marco, hey guys, watching and eating. That's great, Marco. It's not a brunch morning, but you need to keep some food with you. Put this on your suitcase because you're on the right direction. The next couple of minutes, we're going to talk about you, but it's going to be right. Back in the house, Mr. Natap, Joseph Ferreira. Long time, Joseph.
Hey, Joseph, welcome.
Yep, exactly like this. They talk about this. You did not very well. I heard an accounting. Just for this, about this one over there, Marco.
We got you covered,
Marco.
Marco.
Smith, by the way, so that's a good thing about this, Mr. Natap. And you know what we do at the beginning of the show? First of all, we talk about the NHL news around the league, Mr. Natap, and then we're going to talk about what impressed you yesterday. First of all, NHL news announced they suspend Kuznetsov for the Washington Capitals after a slashing yesterday during the game, so he's going to be out for a minimum 1 game, Mr. Natap. And then for injury reserve, Tyler Myers and Ika Mikheyev for the Vancouver Canucks are back in the lineup tonight. That's a good thing about them. And then the Boston Kings announced Alex Iafallo is going to be out with an injured reserve. ER, that's including a 7 days minimum for this situation. That's pretty much what's happening around the league and NHL, Mr. Natap. But look, you have a lot of activity yesterday. One part of the activity where the Montreal surprised the Pittsburgh, and then Toronto. We're going to see what we're going to talk about this. But first of all, Mr. Natap, what we do at the beginning of the show, we ask you all the time, what pay your attention the last 24 hours, Mr. Natap?
Well, I'm going to focus on 2 things, Coach. I'm going to focus on the Montreal game, and I'm going to focus on the Leaf game. because they were two upsets, if you want to call them that, from last night, or at least the ones that stood out the most. With the Montreal game, I was really pleased to see yet again that competitive battle in them. They never gave up. It would have been easy to say, hey, you know what? Allen's not here tonight. Monty's in net, and we fell behind 2-0, and things aren't going our way, and just sort of thrown in the towel. But they didn't. They were there the entire game. I thought they dictated most of the play. I thought that Pittsburgh was a bit complacent after that first period. They sort of were on their heels the rest of the night, and Montreal took advantage of that, to their credit. The thing that really I enjoyed seeing was finally a little bit of juggling of the lines. And I thought that Monahan being put with Caulfield and Suzuki was a great idea. I liked the chemistry I saw there between the three of them. By the same token, Dadonov was brought up with Galley and Dvorak, and it seemed to help his game a little bit as well. And Anderson seemed to be much better suited with Doc and Drouin. It's an interesting line there. We didn't see, I didn't see too much again out of Slavkovsky and Hoffman, but we have to be patient with Slavkovsky anyways.
I'll be honest with you, I disagree with you. I think the line Sarkowski was better to Dak and Anderson last night.
Well, I thought
they produce more offensively. They create more opportunities. Sarkowski have a great pass on the back door on the defenseman over there. But Anderson and Drouin, and they was not there at all. If you look about the stat at the end of the game, there was the less of the worst. The worst, when I said the worst, like compared to three other line, I think that line did not produce. Honestly, now you have some great play they did, like the Rouen, something like that.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Is I thought, when it counted, they were there. I thought Doc made. That was a great goal. Drouin had a great assist. Like Drouin, as long as he can give you something every night that's positive, I think this guy, he can get the points, and I think we always try to throw him under the bus as much as possible. And I understand his pitfalls. I understand where his liabilities are. But to give him away for nothing right at this point doesn't make sense. It's better if we try to fit him in situations where he's going to be successful. And if he can do that on a nightly basis, that's a definite plus for Montreal. The defensive group, what can you say? Like Goulet he played, I would say, probably his best game of the year so far. I thought his stick work was phenomenal. His IQ was, off the charts. He really anticipated plays very well. And Harris was his usual consistent self. So that's what I wanted to say about the Montreal game. I don't know if you want to add to that before we shift to the Leafs.
Yeah, the Coley pass on the backhands on the Nick Suzuki guys. He's 18 years old. You get out the puck, you turn it, you make a turnover for the opponent team. You pick up the puck, and then what you do on the transition, the first thing you do is to put your head up. So you take the first picture. We when we teach the people, said take 5 pictures before you go back in front of the net or the opponent team. So what you're doing to try to teaching people, keep your head up. And then it said, don't carry on the puck, but feel the puck. Because when you feel the puck, you're never going to look the puck anymore. That's the same thing you try to learn at a young age for the player. So what he did, he picked up the puck, he looked in front of him. It was not on forehand, it was on the back ends. He's a left winger, he's a left shooter. So if he passed, he had to carry on the puck behind on his left side. So what he used on the forehand, on the back end. So what happening with that? You keep your hand in front of you, so you eliminate the time, and you do better, not a better pass, but you try to pass the puck quicker, faster. Those details of the game, and he did it perfectly on the forehand. and then on the back end, and then Zuski got it on his full transition. That's how he beat the defenseman, and then Zuski scored the first one over there. He picked up a great, 24-43 for him, for goalie. He got his first 2 points in NHL yesterday, and of course he played more minutes. Was course he missing Edmonton. Edmonton back on the ice skating today with Joan Amir. They look like they will be ready very soon. More decisions coming for the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to talk about this later, but we'll be interesting about this. But for me, goalie was a great one. Monahan, ching, 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 ching. First pick. But it would be interesting to see what happening with Monahan. See, he can keep it up. But people ask her, why Hoffman stay on the ice? He don't go on the bench. Because you have to show on the glass. You have to show them. That's the reason?
Yeah.
You cannot put a guy 4.5 in the stand.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Here we go. Next one.
Yeah, and the other one, the Leaf game. I mean, I'm a bit tired of kind of hearing that, hey, what's wrong with Matthews and Marner and, these they're talking about a lot of these high-priced players on the Leafs not doing their job necessarily. And to me, that's not the main issue. Here's what I saw yesterday, and we had Arizona that played 2 games prior to this, and they allowed, I think it was somewhere between, if I recall, 10 or 11 goals. So they knew right off the bat their focus in practice prior to that Leaf game was how to tighten things up, because we cannot just play an open style kind of game. We're going to get killed on a nightly basis. So if you notice, they played the entire game. They played a box and one. They really tightened up the middle, and they always had a man on the puck all the time. It didn't matter which Leaf picked it up. There was somebody there to meet him. And to me, it looked like they were getting their sticks in the way of passes in the lanes. They were blocking a lot more shots than the Leafs were. To me, it resembled a playoff game from that perspective. Maybe not the intensity or the importance of the game, but from the perspective of how they were playing a much sounder and tighter defensive game. And so for me, the problem isn't those Leaf players specifically. The problem is it's indicating to me that there's a systematic problem in Toronto. And that is, once a team tightens up on you and plays that style of defensive game, how do the Leafs respond to this? How do you compensate for that? So they're not making the proper adjustments, I feel. They're just trying to shoot the puck through 2 or 3 defensemen. They're not back checking as much as they should be. So, you can blame the players as much as you want, and there is some culpability there, but to me, that's a coaching problem.
That's it.
That's it. And they're not going to go very far unless they make that change and they know how to
how
play.
How was their start last season, Mr. ENORTAP?
It was offense.
I'm sorry?
But a lot of teams played an open style with them last year.
No. How did they start last season?
I don't recall.
It was 3-6-7, 3-7-1, something like that. And they finished with 110 points more. So no panic there. It's normal. It's just normal. Like when I said normal, it's not normal, but it's just like we cannot. It's just because when they get beat by Tampa, Arizona, it's a loss, and they have to move on and to come back over there. So for me, I understand your point of view about this, about DJ Smith and then DJ Smith, but Cave. But I will not press the panic over there until I see game number 15, 20. And then after that, you can do about this. They're going to find a rip. Right now, the player are not play. Matthews does play. How many goals he has, Matthews?
0 or 1 maybe.
All right.
It goes off of
and he was a tip from Giordano shot, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's where he's right now is in the beginning of the season.
But that's not the reason why they're losing, Coach. It's not just because
Matthews but this is key. Coffee has how many points on the road so far? Zero.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't. Well, one was scared go there, Washington. But my point to you is, your top player does not produce, not going to win game. It's not the third line, fourth line going to carry on your team like this. So
Understood. And I agree with that. But you also have to be able to win when your best players are not playing their best. And that's what determines the difference between a good team and an elite team that will go to the playoffs. When Kucherov and Stamkos aren't scoring, you can rest assured that they had guys like Palat and others that were doing the scoring for them. The second, the third line, and you can go all the way around in the league, and you can see the same pattern. The good teams, the second and third lines will step up when they have to.
yeah, but I would never
we're not
worry
seeing
about
that.
them. They're going to finish first anyway, and they're going to be fine. They're going to be
Agreed. I agree with that 100%. I still think they'll finish first in the division. My thing is there's a systematic problem here, and teams are now starting to get a little bit smarter, and they're starting to say, how is it that we can beat the Leafs when it comes to playoff time? And that's very simple. You play that tight defensive game. You do not allow them to have 40, 50 shots on net. You try to block as much as you can, and you just become opportunistic and wait for your opportunities, because their defense will make mistakes. And that's how you beat the Leafs. And until they can change that, and it's not just a personnel problem, I think it's more of an X's and O approach, we're going to get the same result in the playoffs.
We'll see. 4-game. Like, people asking me yesterday, who panic right now? I think people panic too much. We're going to, and 10 game, and we're going to see what they look like. It's like Lindy Ruff. People scream the game number 1 or game number 2 at the Saturday night. They want to fire Lindy Ruff. Like they were singing, like, fire Ruff, fire Ruff, fire Ruff. And now the pressure's over there. Who's the coach will be out? When Boudreau coming back and Vancouver next game at home, when they're going to be maybe lose again tonight, it's not looking good over there. You have always considered Mr. Untitled, who in the out seat as a coach is always the one that have no contract. After that, Leonard have no contract extension. Boudreau have no contract extension, and those kind of situations you have to look about those kind of see what is on the hot seat. But however it is, Mr. Untitled, we have to move on. We have a couple of people show up. Mr. Bobby is in the house tonight. Chicago is on the house tonight. Welcome, everybody, to be a part of the show tonight. Thanks to be with us. So that's pretty short. And then you have a couple of great games overall. Carolina doing well yesterday. Great performance, Zibanejad, Ovechkin. Both of them are 4 points. With Panarin, Mr. Untitled. Panarin is on fire right now on the NHL. He's doing very well for that part of this. And then for me, is the Dallas Star. They're going to be against Montreal Saturday. I think I did not see them that way. And they're looking good so far. I know it's only 3 games. I understand. But they're looking good over there, Mr. Untitled. They are well balanced. And they are the team, Mr. Untitled, where I will look this way. You want to play physical? We can do it. You want to play skilled? We can have a skilled player also. So it's not like only one, like Montreal, physicality is not there, right? It's not like Minnesota, or it's not like Calgary, or it's like, so for me, I think that Dallas is well balanced. If Jake doing, again, consider what he's doing, I think it's going to be a really surprise. You always treat teams, Mr. Untitled, they don't expect and they do well. You always treat teams, they expect to do well and they don't do well. This has been this for 100 years. And so it is to figure out, can Dallas be that team where they're going to show up and then make the playoff? And then Vancouver, we expect a lot. And then they go, like, last year we talked the New York Islanders was the one over there. So we'll be interesting to see what's happening, Mr. Untitled. But we hit the 5:30. We have 8 games to talk about. And let's move on for what we have on the program, Mr. Untitled. First of all, it's the time. And of course, every single time we come back on that graphic, Mr. Untitled, Shelton is over there on the TV right now. But I tried to get, where is my, I cannot find it, Mr. Untitled. I can't see anything here. I don't know. Here we go. I got it now. It's just like the lights of the board and make its friends right here. But Mr. Untitled, it's time. And right now we go take the car number one because Danny cannot drive, first of all. And it's the time for the jail, Mr. Untitled. Are you ready for that one there today?
Jail.
We have only 2 passengers. And the good news, they're on the same area, so Roger don't have to drive a lot today, and you have to go only around the Orléans and Ottawa to pick up 2 person in the jail tonight, Mr. Untitled. And I'm talking about who? Yes, I'm talking about them, and they are back over there. Mr. Danny T and Marco Larrabee are the 2 people, Mr. Untitled, are going to the jail tonight, and it will be interesting to have a great night over there, guys. That's the only thing I was said. Any comment you want to talk about both of them, Mr. Untitled?
Oh, well, it's all Ottawa oriented here for this night.
Yeah,
Let's hope
you
their
know,
team-
sometimes
let's
when
hope
you
their
go to
team,
jail,
has better
right?
success.
When you go to jail, Mr. Untitled, you want to have a good partner. So why not to go the same partner together? So Danny T and Marco Larrabee are the 2 men are going to be on the jail. So we need to increasing the food, of course, because Danny will be there. So we make another box of the food, Mr. Untitled. We got a sponsor for this, so we want to be sure you understand. So have a great 24 hours. Fernando Tavares back from the jail. He takes the bus. Roger, he can become Fernando Tavares, Mr. Untitled, the assistant driver of the Roger. He's always with Roger. One is the bug, one is the boss. He don't know yet which one he likes the most, but maybe he's testing, and then we see what he look like for Fernando. Mr. Untitled. Any comments you want to add?
Oh, I see. Marco and Danny are at it in the chat, so I'll leave them in their accommodations.
Here we
Let
go.
them figure it out.
So, Mr.
Oh,
Untitled, I tried to figure out this. I was not sure because it looked like I was not complicated, but I think, let me know if I'm right or wrong.
I think I think you took the lead. Yeah.
But we have the
right.
same number, the point, because of the extra point you got.
Yes.
All right, sound good. So we have 8 game, guys, on the night, and then we're going to have 6 at the beginning. Then we're going to move on after that, Mr. Untitled, for 2 more games on the board. And this is the email at the bottom, guys, to send us your prediction, and that's what happening about this. And then Fernando, he said, the Sunland, no prediction, more multiple day. Here we go. Here we go. Game number 1.
No, you have to do them. Fernando, you have to have faith. It's just one bad night. You went from jail to the bus, party bus. You got to keep doing it.
Right now, he's the boss twice, and he went to the jail once.
Yeah.
And the little boy,
know.
from Mr. Tavares, is the one go to the party bus. The jail does not count, right? So I don't want to let you know about that one there. Here we go, Mr. Untitled. New Jersey
All
and
right.
the Anaheim.
Let's start. Well, the Ducks, they're rolling into New Jersey during their, I want to call it their early East Coast road trip to start the season off. They started the season on a record of 1-1, beating the Kraken in overtime, and then they got sort of bounced back by the Islanders 7-1. Their goaltending has struggled early. You know, they've given up 11 goals in those 2 games. This Ducks team is also fairly young, but you know what? They have a lot of skill, and that's what they have to work on here. You know, having 3 players that are under the age of 24 on your top 2 lines doesn't provide much NHL experience. But that's not saying it can't work. It's just that they might take them a little bit while longer before they can build the chemistry that's needed to start producing. The Devils, they're off to a slow start this season as well. The expectations are very high, and we already hear through all sorts of social media platforms how they're being blasted, especially their coach, Lindy Ruff, especially after losing that 5-2 to both Detroit and the Flyers. If the Devils want to be relevant this year, they're going to need their superstar, I think, Jack Hughes, to start get going. So far, he's at a -3 with 0 points, and that is one of the reasons they are where they are. Which is not to say that the start. It's not the start I think that the Devils obviously envisioned beforehand, but again, as we were saying before, it's still early in the year. I think people have to sort of take it with a grain of salt and let things transpire. I'm going to go with Anaheim played it last night, so I'm going to take New Jersey to win this game by a score of 4-1.
4-1 New Jersey in the center tap. It's confirmed, and I'm going to confirm that one 4-2. Because the goaltender New Jersey just said to me, "You're not good," so I just follow what you said. So I just put an extra goal.
Okay. And next we have the Bruins in Ottawa. Oh, what a matchup this is going to be. The Bruins, they came absolutely ready to play so far this season. When I'll be the first to say, I thought they'd be the opposite. They'd come out of the gates a little bit rusty and challenged because they were missing some of their better players. But kudos to them for having played so well so far. They're off to a hot start with a 3-0 record, outscoring their opposition by a 16-8 margin along the way. This will be the second time that they visit a team that is making their season home debut, which is not preferable. But they responded well the first time, so who knows? They should be able to perhaps answer the bell tonight as well. Ottawa was, probably one of the busiest teams in the off season, and they came into the season, at least on paper, much improved from previous years. It appears that they're still working on building chemistry, though, because of the number of additions that they've made on the team. The Senators, they lost 4-1 to the Sabres. They lost 3-2 to the Leafs. It will not get any easier against Boston, simply because Boston is rolling right now. It's obviously a very small sample size, but early on the Senators seem to be a little bit snake bitten. They put up 36 shots in their first game, and then I think in the second game it was around 28, 29 shots on goal. So it's not because they're not generating the opportunities; they're not executing at this point. Those numbers, they aren't prolific, and and they aren't pathetic either. The Senators have only 3 goals on those combined 64 shots. They're 1 for 6 on their power play, which is not great. So they have a lot of areas of improvement, not the least of which is also their defensive responsibilities. I think it's going to be a tough game here, but I think Ottawa will pull this out. I'm going to take them to win 4-2 since Boston played last night.
All right, Ottawa 4-2. I said Ottawa will win by an overtime tonight, Mr. Untitled. I feel like they were going to win an overtime just to open the night. I think it'll be great about this. First of all, we want to welcome back Josico, and then we want to welcome back Terry T, double T in the house. We're with you, Mr. Terry T.
Welcome, guys.
Speed recovery. I know you don't feel good, so hopefully you're going to feel a little bit better. And that's Mr. Untitled. Game number 3, Vancouver Canucks. And the Columbus, you got to get good news about this. One of the teams going to be a winner, at least for one game, and then one will be worse as 0-4, like a San Jose Sharks.
In this matchup between a couple of teams that are struggling out of the gate, it looks a little better for Vancouver, I would say. The Blue Jackets are 0-3 early on the season, and they've been outscored by a margin of 14-5. Granted, that they've gone through a bit of a gauntlet playing teams like Carolina, Tampa, St. Louis, but they lost their star winger Patrick Laney, which to injury right from the get-go in that first game of the season. And they've lost both at home and on the road. Columbus has not yet outshot an opponent. They have not recorded a power play goal yet. They have not allowed fewer than 4 goals in a game. They have not scored more than 2 goals in a game. And again, small sample size, yes, but areas that you look at and say, make you go, let's watch out for this in the future. So the Blue Jackets they just haven't put things together yet, and that's a bit concerning. The Canucks, do have positives from an otherwise uneventful first week. Like they actually outshot Edmonton by a 10 or 11 shot margin. I think it was like 35-25 or something like that. But just have problems really containing guys like McDavid, just like many other teams as well. But the biggest concern was that in all the games that they've lost, they've always had a multiple goal lead. And so defensively, there's a lot to work on here. And it's not going to get any easier tonight because there's a sense of urgency from both teams. Again, Vancouver played last night. Otherwise, I think I would have taken Vancouver. And Columbus is at home. So I'm going to take, and also Demko is not in net from the last time I checked. So I'm going to take Columbus to win this in overtime by a score of 3-2. And Bruce, there he goes.
Same thing, but I go 3-2, Mr. Untitled.
Okay.
We want to welcome Mr. Rick Bengal in the house and Mr. Roger L.
Let's
in
get
the house.
ready.
Roger L. Welcome back, both of you guys. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Okay, next, to say that these are two teams coming off of opposite seasons would be quite the understatement. The Flyers finished in last place in the Metro last year, had the second worst record in the East. Meanwhile, the Lightning made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals for the third straight season. Although they fell to Colorado, they're still a tier or two above, Philadelphia, if not more. Philly traded away their captain, Giroux, last year, and made it clear that they're not exactly in win-now mode. They did win each of their first 2 games of the season, but that should be taken, I think, with a bit of a grain of salt. Those games were against the Devils, who finished 1 spot above the Flyers last year, and also the Canucks, who are having their problems, as we said, who frankly have been throwing away their games. Both of Philly's games so far were also at home, so this will be their first road game of the season. And heading into Tampa is never a fun place for any team to go into, especially with the Lightning coming off of a loss. That being said, Tampa, if I'm not mistaken, they took down Philly by a combined score of something like 15-5 in the 3 meetings that they played last year. And I don't think this is going to be much different. I'm going to take Tampa to win this game by a score of 5-2.
5-2 for Tampa Bay Lightning. Awesome. I go with 4-2, Mr. Untitled. I don't know where you see again the score, goal number 5, but that'd be awesome.
Empty net.
Thanks so much, Bobby, for that one. An empty net. Yeah, it could happen. at some point. But we have to give credit for the Flyers, John Tortorella, Mr. Tap. I want to open the door. I'm watching the game
Sure.
Ottawa and Boston, Mr. Tap. And sometimes it's all about family and life, everything like that. And for the first time tonight, the dad of Tim Souza is going to see the game live, watch his game, his son play tonight in Ottawa.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's definitely a landmark for them. Next, what do we have here? San Jose and the Islanders. Okay. So the Sharks, they start a 4-game Eastern Conference road trip on Tuesday when they play the Islanders. The Sharks have struggled so far early in the season. They've yet to record a point through their first 4 games. The Islanders are coming off of a dominant victory over the Ducks by a score of 7-1. The Islanders have the edge offensively, as the Sharks have put little pressure on the attack as they rank 31st in expected goals. And again, small sample space, so we take all of this with a grain of salt. This has shown up in their results as they have scored only 6 goals together in their 4 games played, ranking them quite low in the overall equation of things. I think this is going to be another game that the Islanders will come out strong at home, get that early lead, and then really tighten things up defensively. And if San Jose can't answer the bell, and I don't think they will, the Islanders will come away with the victory. So I'm going to take the Islanders to shut out San Jose tonight by a score of 3-0.
Wow, that's a great call about this one with that. But we still the same team, Mr. Tap, 5-2.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I want to make sure go talk about the Los Angeles Kings. We just heard Alex Iafallo is out for injury reserve.
That's right. Yeah. And so our last game on this page, on this template, we have the Kings in Nashville. The Kings, they stroll into Nashville after a meeting with the Red Wings Monday night. This will be I think, a high-paced match, as I expect, both teams to make. Well, yeah, I was going to say for both teams probably making the postseason, but we'll wait and see. I think that Western Conference is going to be so tough getting those 2 wildcard teams in. So every point, every game is monumental. You really don't want to leave any points on the table. The Kings' third line has had a strong start to the season, producing 10 points to start the season. And this will have to continue to keep the pressure off of the top line of Fiala, Kopitar, and Kempe. Nashville hasn't been kind to the Kings over the past couple of years. They've gone 0-4 in their past 4 meetings against the Predators. Now, after winning both games against the Sharks in the Czech Republic to start off the season, the Predators are winless after that so far on, if you want to say, on USA soil. Losing both games to Dallas by a combined score of 9-2. I expect a little bit more out of Nashville, just from what I saw last year. They were a team that were always hard to play against. They dictated the play for the most part. They play a very, very physical game, and you have to be ready for them on a nightly basis. The Kings are in a tough spot, having to play 2 road games on back-to-back nights. And like I said, they've struggled in Nashville. So I'm going to take Nashville here to win this game by a score of 4-2.
Nashville overtime, Mr. Tap.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
All right. Let's move on. 2 more games to go.
Who do we have next?
Edmonton.
Buffalo and Edmonton, yes. Well, I'm kind of worried about this a little bit. I mean, I'll let the cat out of the bag right away and say I took Edmonton in this game, but I'm a bit worried that Edmonton might treat this as a sort of one of those games like most good teams treat poor teams that come into their own ice rink, right? So one of those sleeper games. You know, the Sabres, they head west to start a 4-game road trip, and they start tonight with the Edmonton Oilers. The Sabres have looked good in their first 2 games, beating the Senators on the opening night and then taking the reigning President's Trophy winners, the Panthers, to the brink. The Oilers, however, have a win and a loss and haven't looked solid really in either game, I would say. I know that first game, it was nice that they came from behind and they dictated the entire third period, but I wouldn't say it was a solid game for them. Yeah, you know, both teams have been scoring goals early on as they both rank in the top half of the league in goals scored per game. With the Oilers, I think they're around 6th or 7th overall. The odd thing, though, which I fully expect positive regression on, is that both teams rank around the bottom 10 in expected goals. So we'll see if that adjusts itself as they play more games. Problematic, Campbell right now. I haven't liked what I've seen so far out of Campbell, but I have liked the little bit that I've seen of Skinner. Came in that game against Calgary, and I thought he held his own and really gave the team a chance to at least try to fight back and stay in the game and possibly win it. Didn't turn out that way, but he looked half decent, and it looks like he will be starting this game tonight against Anderson. Look for the Oilers' defense in this game to see if there's a little bit more improvement. I thought they gave up a lot of battles, and they lost the puck quite a bit in their own end zone last time. So I anticipate they'll tighten up a little bit there. And I'm going to take the Oilers to win by a score of 5-2. But I got to say, I'm a little bit worried.
I will not be worried about them alone in UNTITLED because they come back for a loss against Calgary. So you're going to see a McDavid on fire tonight. 3 points for McDavid tonight, Mr. UNTITLED. So you can relax now. Don't take any pill. Just relax tonight, and you'll be fine.
Well, I have McDavid in the pool, so I would love that prediction.
You're going to get that one for sure. And RJ back, and Rick Bengal does Bengal does a lot of great comments inside of that one of them. And Fernando sent his prediction. And last game of the night, Mr. UNTITLED.
Last game.
This is the game of the night for me.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely agree with you, Coach. Looks like it's Thompson against Markstrom. This matchup has real potential to be, a Western Conference final preview, or at least a postseason matchup of some kind. The Avalanche and the Oilers will likely have, something obviously to say about that, but this should be a great game nevertheless, in my opinion. The Golden Knights were one of the bigger disappointments last year when they missed the postseason. However, they had, as we know, a plethora of injuries and other situations that crept up all year, and I think that's what contributed them not making the playoffs, although they did come close. Vegas is also a bit of a different looking team this year. They obviously don't have Pacioretty for they gave him away for virtually nothing to Carolina. Robin Leonard is not on the team anymore. That means they're without one of their top goal scorers and a starting goalie. But you've seen so far that their 2 goalies have answered the bell for Vegas so far. I liked both their play. Thompson, you know what? this guy, I know it's very early, but this guy could tend to be the rookie of the year, or at least be in that conversation when the season is said and done. So I wouldn't discount that at all. Calgary has been on fire. They've beaten very good teams along the way. Their victories are very justified. I think this is going to go down to the wire, and I'm going to take the home team to win in overtime. Calgary 4-3.
But Mr. Natal, it was a really boring selection per game tonight, me and you.
We agree. So we're either both doomed or both at the top.
But we have a bad news, Mr. Natal.
What's that?
I think our selection is like Fernando Tavares, and he's just back from the bus, so he looked like possibly will go to jail tomorrow. But I think we did the right things tonight. I think, again, every night you have some surprise since the beginning of the season, Mr. Natap. It's Montreal, Arizona, Flyers, and some thing lost, like Minnesota. So we'll be interesting tonight who could be that kind of surprise on the road, or a back-to-back game like possible the Kings or Boston, a back-to-back could surprise. And then the winner between the two teams did not win no games. Again, honestly, it would be the Blue Jackets. So it'll be interesting, like possible San Jose can win their first W of the year. So that could happen about this. So we are almost at the end of the show. We want to thank everybody, but I would like to hear from you, Mr. Natap. What are you looking for tonight for the NHL with 8 games on the program?
Definitely the last game that we talked about is probably the most intriguing because you have two teams that have so far come out of the gate flying, and you want to see your best measuring stick is when you play another solid team to see if your previous victories were solid or not. So I'm going to go with that game, Calgary and Vegas, to be the one to look out for tonight.
Wow, Bobby, go for it. Again, his team tonight. He take Calgary 5-3, Mr. Natap, for Bobby. So very interesting. So look, we have an amazing, great show today. We appreciate, of course, Mr. Natap, for what you do every single day. And we want to thank the company Dilwood Smith for verification for all the works they do at the end, because Mr. Natap gave us all the great nuggets every single night. So guys, we wish you an amazing, great night. We'll be back in the next 5-10 minutes. We'll talk about the game Boston versus Ottawa Senators. But before we leave, we want to welcome Dawson Sport Corner, Mr. Dawson. Hopefully you're doing better. And we'll see if Fernando is right or wrong tonight, tomorrow night. We're going to see if Fernando was on that way with it. And Eagle Frank, Mr. Natab, just show up. We want to welcome him in the house. He's excited about the Tampa Bay Lightning home opener, I believe. About not home opener, but they back at home after 2 games.
Tonight.
But
you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness.
Oh, yeah, you have greatness inside of you, Mr. Natap. Of course, every single night. Good luck for Eagle, for your Tampa Bay Lightning, for your team tonight. We wish you the best. We're going to be back in the next couple of minutes. Until then, Mr. Natap, we want to remind everybody, be well, be healthy, find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what?
You're 2022.
He did it again. An amazing, great night, people. And of course, we want to remind you, we love you, people. Thanks so much, Mr. ENORTAP. See you a little bit later.
Good night, Hockey Nation. Good night, Coach.